well, look, last time you were on, which wasn't too long ago, you were just at the beginning of your crazy stunt to expose David Beckham's hypocrisy.
Yes.
And you were about to shred £10,000 if you didn't withdraw from sponsorship of the Qatar World Cup. Now, you rang me beforehand and said, I have to tell you, don't talk about this too much.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not going to shred the money, but if you quiz me about it, I will admit that and ruin the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I was in on it.
You were about the only person who was outside of the team that were working on it. Because I'm not good under, like I do, if you'd asked me about it, because I know what you're like. You'd go like, well, you're not really going to do it, are you? And I'd be like, I am, and it would sort of. So I just didn't want to spoil it.
Yes.
And you were very obliging, and we had a nice little chat about it, and nobody. I sort of thought people would, when I pretend shredded the money anyway, I thought people would watch it and go, he's not really done that, or whatever. I sort of thought people knew me better, but the press basically did just all run. Some of them said allegedly or appears to shred, but a lot of them just went, Joe Lycett shredded 10 grand.
Yeah.
I thought, you could just say you're doing anything and they'll just do it. Like, I suppose they can't check because, you know, we controlled the video that went out and all that.
And you had quite a clever, it was quite a clever mechanism to do it because the money that went in was real money, right?
Yes, because what we realise is that you can't legally can't make fake notes unless they're something like 20% bigger or smaller. Right. I'm sure Avalon have a similar policy. So we couldn't put them on the side and show them without a risk of someone watching it who knows that and going, that doesn't look like a real note and all that. So we had real notes and a real shredder, but there was a sort of system where fake notes were on like a kind of buzzer that someone was off camera. A lovely man called Tom who designed the thing. He pressed the buzzer so that the fake notes went in as I threw the real notes into essentially a bucket.
Right.
So we knew that at no point we were going to shred real money, but it felt really scary because I was putting 10 grand into an actual shredder, but there was no real way that it would have got shredded.
Yeah.
But if you actually knew like what you were looking at, that particular shredder wouldn't produce that sort of shred.
Yeah.
Also, modern banknotes are plasticky, so they wouldn't shred and sort of float like they did. So you're all idiots, basically, is what I'm saying.
I mean, it's weird because I think occasionally, like I think there was some comment on Twitter when I said you were on saying, "Oh, that guy shredded £10,000." So some people still believe.
Oh,
you did it.
Definitely, yeah. I think lots of people still do.
People were very angry about it at the time. I mean, it was sort of interesting. Obviously, I knew. I think I would have suspected that you wouldn't do. I mean, knowing you, I'd thought, I don't think he would do this.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how angry people got about it.
Mm. Well, there's the flip side as well, because there's a whole society of people that believe that destroying money is a brilliant thing. Right. I can't remember what they're called. And they wrote this extraordinary blog. I mean, it's a long read. I copied and pasted it and put it into ChatGPT and said, just give me the gist of this. And essentially they were angry with me for doing it because they were really excited when I said I was going to do it because they thought someone on the telly is essentially doing what we think everyone should do. And then you've pulled it back and you've destroyed everything. And they did say something along the lines of, I'm going to hell and I'm the worst person who's ever lived. Something along those lines, because I didn't actually destroy the money.
But even if they believe that, you're still better than someone who hasn't even pretended to shred any money. At least you've pretended to shred some money. So
that's true.
You're better.
Yeah, so destroying money has been boosted as a concept.
Yeah. And most people don't destroy any money, so you've like destroyed some fake money. It makes you closer to being to them than me. I've never destroyed any money.
We should do some now.
Let's do some.
That feels appropriate.
Let's do some coins.
Birmingham City Council's collapsed. We're in a cost of living crisis. Let's burn a tenner.
So what was the fallout with? I mean, obviously this was all designed to. You ended up getting a bit of flack, didn't you? Because you were saying to David Beckham, don't take money from Qatar. Yeah. But you yourself, you hypocrite.
Yes.
Had done a gig in 2014.
The Sun newspaper, is that you? Yeah. Well, I actually cited this podcast as evidence that I hadn't hidden that, because when we were talking about it, I said, I've gigged in Qatar,
Right.
I've been there. I wasn't hiding that, I thought, in any way, but I suppose I didn't mention it in the programme or in the setup or whatever, so I probably should have done that at some point. And after the podcast, I think that was the first time, it was the Mail, I think, got in touch and said, interesting to hear that Joe said on the Richard Herring podcast that he did a gig in Qatar. The thing with it is that I think there are two distinct things. At no point did I say no one should go to Qatar. I didn't say the footballers shouldn't go there. I was very careful not to condemn the whole concept of Qatar. What I was condemning was the government of Qatar and what they do. And Beckham was taking money from them to promote them, and wasn't saying anything about what they were doing. And in the same way that, like, I don't think he should take money from Rishi Sunak and the UK government, but I still gig here. I'm doing a show here in the UK, but I don't think you should promote those people. So that was what my point was. But that obviously is a nuanced idea, and the Sun newspaper is not necessarily great at that. And so they tried to sort of make me look like a hypocrite.
Yeah, I don't think it was a great gotcha. I don't think it was.
No, but it was interesting because I thought, oh shit, like I should have been thinking like them, and it was an interesting for future stunts, if I ever do it, to sort of like try and be like one step forward and sort of think, what would a whole company of bastards think about this? Okay, that's how they'll get me. Okay, fine.
And did you hear anything from Beckham? There wasn't really.
We had
much,
a statement from his people, which was very sort of PR-y and bland, and just sort of said, we want everyone to be happy, and was very sort of the Trumpian, there are good sides on good people on both sides. I just thought it was a limp statement, but he wouldn't have written it. He doesn't know how.
Right down, Victoria.
So I got the PR statement, which is whatever. That's more than we expected, to be honest. But I have since heard somebody who worked on the programme sat next to one of his managers or something, and they were over a dinner party, and they said, oh, it was a fucking shit show, and like there was so many crisis meetings. I was like, yes. And I know that someone who worked for him in his PR team has since left, and potentially because of, like, they just don't want to be involved in it. I don't know. I can't, So I know there's been a bit of internal fallout. But to be honest, I've said what I sort of want to say about Beckham, and it's not, I'm not, going to go to the grave constantly attacking him, because I think he does lots of brilliant stuff. I think he's had a sort of blind spot here, and I think he just got bad advice from his team and ended up a bit of a shit show. I will continue to advocate for LGBT people, because I am one, and I would love all governments to stop killing gays.
Yeah.
You what?
Love gays.
Yeah, that's the mayor of Birmingham.
That's why this city's in such a mess.
Yeah.
Just spend a bit more time balancing your budget and stop loving gays.
That was one thing I saw on Twitter when it was announced that Birmingham City Council had crumbled.
Yes.
Somebody said they had money to spend on this, and it was a picture of a pride flag that they put on the floor. It's like, oh, that's what tipped it, isn't it? Multi-billion-pound issue. Should have put that pride flag down.
And you won a BAFTA for that show, am I correct in that?
I won a BAFTA for that
there
show,
you go.
yes. So take that, The Sun.
Yeah. And you gave money to, the £10,000, which was also
Gave
given.
the 10 grand went to charity before the thing even started.
Yeah.
The BAFTA stays with me.
I still think you're bad for having done that gig in 2014. So it's I'm with the Sun.
What for gig?
For gigging in,
bad for
yeah, I still think it's bad. Yeah.
Why is that?
No, I'm joking. I was only joking. Like it's so pathetic. It's like it's
I thought I was being brave for going.
Yeah,
Because I thought this is the thing, is because I know H from Steps, always a good reference in these situations. He pulled out of a gig and pulled all of Steps out of a gig in Dubai because they'd been told in their contract they couldn't promote LGBT stuff.
Right.
When I was booked for that gig in Qatar, I was booked as known, is what they say. So I was never told, don't do your stuff. But we were doing it in gigs where it was sort of allowed. And I thought it was good to go over there. And I still think it's good to go over there and perform as openly queer person, because then the people there go, oh, he's just like us. So I do think it's a good thing to do. So fuck off.
I was only being cheeky. I was being
paid me millions. I think it was about £300 I got per gig.
That's why it was funny, because it's before you were even on telly, probably, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you were just a jobbing comedian.
Yeah.
And the amount it would have cost you to get there.
Yeah. This idea that I've, at one point in my life, went, you know what, fuck the gays, I'm going to take the money. Like, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, well, there you go. Here we are.